Imagine standing on a vast rust-colored plain. The ground is a blend of dusty reds and browns, stretching as far as your eyes can see. Above, the sky is a pale yellowish orange, not quite like anything you'd see on Earth. The air is cold and thin, and even though this is a world millions of kilometers away, you can't help but feel a strange sense of adventure. This is Mars, the red planet, our next frontier in space exploration. Today, let's take a journey to see what it would really take to transform this barren world into a place where humans could live and thrive. The idea of terraforming Mars, or making it Earth-like, is fascinating. For decades, scientists, writers, and dreamers have been captivated by the possibility. And why not? It's an incredibly grand vision, turning another planet into a second home for humanity. But let's pause for a moment and think about what that really means. To start, we would need to warm up Mars. Right now, the average temperature is about minus 60 degrees Celsius, much colder than the most frigid winter day on Earth. Scientists have suggested a few ways to do this, like using mirrors in space to reflect more sunlight onto the surface, or releasing greenhouse gases to trap heat. If you've ever felt the warmth of the sun on a chilly day and how it can change everything around you, you can imagine how doing this on a planetary scale could slowly begin to melt the frozen CO2 at the poles. The released gas would thicken the atmosphere, helping to warm the planet further. But once it's warmer, there's still the question of air, and breathable air at that. Currently, Mars's atmosphere is over 95% carbon dioxide. To support human life, we need oxygen. Growing plants might be a solution, as they naturally convert carbon dioxide into oxygen through photosynthesis. Imagine vast greenhouses filled with resilient plants, specially chosen or maybe even genetically modified to thrive in Martian soil and atmosphere. These wouldn't just be any greenhouses, they'd be teeming with life, a vivid green against the backdrop of Mars's red landscape, offering hope for creating a livable world. Water, the essence of life, is another key. Mars has polar ice caps and possibly underground ice. We would need to figure out how to access and sustain a water supply for drinking, farming, and other needs. Picture streams flowing through newly carved channels, lakes forming in ancient craters, the sound of trickling water slowly bringing life to these once barren lands. Bringing life to Mars sounds poetic, doesn't it? Yet it also makes us think deeply about life and our place in the universe. We are creatures defined in part by our environment. Imagine the first humans who might live on Mars. How would the experience of growing up under two suns and in a gravity that is less than Earth's shape their identity, their sense of purpose? The Martian environment would write itself into their very beings, much like how the Earth has done with us. These are grand ideas, almost poetic in their ambition, but the reality is far from simple. Terraforming Mars would require technology we've yet to develop, and the cost would be astronomical. And then there's the moral question. Should we, just because we might eventually be able to? Mars is a pristine world, untouched by human hands. What responsibility do we have to preserve it as it is, even as we dream of turning it into a new home? As we envision cities under domes, green valleys, and Martian skies filled with the laughter of human children, we need to remind ourselves that while Mars may one day be part of our future, we must also care for our present home. Earth remains our only home, rich with life, culture, and natural beauty. As we look towards the stars and imagine the possibilities, we must reflect on how we live now and what we can do to protect this beautiful world for future generations. These thoughts bring us back to why we consider things like terraforming Mars. Is it to escape, to explore, or perhaps something deeper, an intrinsic human drive to create, to shape our destiny among the stars? Whatever the reasons, they tell us much about who we are and who we hope to become. As we conclude this exploration, I invite you to imagine standing once more on that red soil, looking up at a sky filled with possibilities. Perhaps one day humans will walk there, not as visitors, but as residents of a new world. Until then, let us continue to dream, to explore, and to cherish the planet we call home. Thank you for joining me on this journey.